Hey traders, I know it's a bit late me doing the MACD video, but hey, we're here and doing it now. So this is at the moment the 1 hour chart on pound dollar. MACD doesn't matter when you use any chart, any time frame. Remember, the higher the time frame, the more likely it is to give you an example working. So we'll show how it works. So firstly, just right click, you need to insert the indicator. This is trading view, so it's fairly easy that way. For me, it's in favourites. For everyone else who hasn't really been, I think under well, just search for it like that, and then it'll just come up there. Just want the first one, MACD. Like I said, this is my favourites. Little tip to what I use. These are the ones I use only. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 indicators what you could say I'd use, of which MACD I don't use too much. You know, I use the 50 EMA there. Pivot points only on intraday charts and every now and again. RSI or statistics RNI on the higher time frames, and volume I use all the time. This is my main one there. Anyway, so big confusing mess at the bottom. Now that's your MACD for you, but how do I use it? Now I use it as divergence, and what I mean by that is I like to see when technically MACD should predict the future for you. That's what MACD does. Forget when the signal line does this with the histogram and all this stuff. So let me show what I do. So I edit the actual MACD. Click format, and I want to take the signal line out. I want to take the histogram line out. And all you're left with now is the MACD line, nothing else. And we'll show you how I use it and what happens here, yeah? So you want to look for the troughs and peaks of MACD. So let's have a look now at the moment. Chart here is going down, okay, yeah, we can link the lows together there like that, there you go, and we can link the highs, come on, what's my computer doing, like that there. It doesn't matter, I'm not really drawing the trend lines there, I just want to show what I want about there. Here's your highs and here's your lows here, and what you're looking for is a reversal. So MACD would technically predict the reversal of the trend in general. So this is going down and we expect at some point to go up. So what we do is then here we want to see when MACD starts putting in higher lows here, because it's going down to start with, we're looking for higher lows, and you can say here like that going across there is when the higher lows started coming in place. There's your low, there's your low, there's your low there. You could say there as well. And if you look here, the main lows are getting lower on the main chart, and on the MACD the lows are getting higher. And you notice here, your breakout and retest of the trend line was actually here, this area here. And so you got your MACD telling you it's going to go higher. You broke up, then come down. This is your first higher low of the trend, and you can see it moved off afterwards. So let's now go to another pair, another time frame. Like I said, I like the higher time frames, so let's just do the daily chart, for example. There we are, and we can do exactly the same thing again now on the higher time frame. So here's your double top pattern there as such on pound dollar. What did MACD say? MACD was putting a lower high in there. You see, guys, there you go, straight away MACD put its lower high in. But notice beforehand the highs were always higher there, and on the chart it was as well. So MACD never predicted it would break down until this point here, and that was there. And your lower high was there as well, so that is it there, it broke down. So MACD predicted quite nicely there as well. Let's go down to where when it shot back up again, and again you've got your lows here, there to there, that's your lows, and MACD is showing higher lows there. There's your point, it turned, and it turned there as well, triple bottom, then rallied off again. You see, guys? So this is how MACDs really want to be using it for, really, in all fairness. Forget about how to trade with it, with using the lines, the crossovers, the signals. This is just confusing. Look at it this way, as when you think it's going to change trend, where do you think it will go next? Let's look at Aussie dollar, for example, very controversial trade that is in general. Let's delete all the crap off there. Double top pattern there, lower high there already. There you go, guys. So there, I mean, you've got either a straight key level there, run area, and lower high is already there. So MACD is already predicting there's a lower high there, which says to me that this double top pattern was a nice breakdown. At the moment, we've got nothing here at the moment because the lows are still going lower here, so there's no reversal of this trend yet. And again, we can zoom out to the lows here. If you notice, I'll zoom back in here for a little bit, guys. If you notice, the lows are getting lower there, like that, but the highs are getting, the lows are getting higher there. This is what we call divergence. And again, you got the prediction of it moving back up. And again, I know it put a lower low there slightly into it, but that's a higher low there. So it did eventually think it's going to break down. It never did there, but that's not really a massive issue there. This was your point where you could have got back in for a trend to go higher. So MACD, just use it as a nice guidance to where it thinks things will go next. And let's do another one, euro dollar, for example. Well, you see what I thought here. MACD put in a double top pattern, slightly bearish, lower trend line going down. We're going to put it like that though. So MACD put a double top pattern in, and the chart itself moved up higher. So that's there is a divergence in itself. It broke down, then come back up again. That's all you're looking for, nothing else more than that. We can do the same thing at the bottom here. If you notice here, MACD put a double bottom on the chart here around 2015. So there you go. You've got your MACD double bottom there. But your chart had a huge low, and then the chart put a double bottom in there. That's your buy point, that was, and you could have got a decent trade going back up again. So that's kind of how I look at it. And like I said, you can use it in any time frame. I wouldn't really want to use it on the super low time frames, although we'll have a look quickly now, because I don't normally use it on the low time frames, you see. We'll see what's happening. So as you can see here, it dropped down massively there. That's a huge, the lows are getting lower there, or higher, sorry, but for me it's very difficult. For me, would be more standout would be from there to there. This is what I'll be looking at, guys, and things at this much more longer time. This is why the hourly chart would be better, something like that, you see, and you've got lower lows here. So as this is a current one with euro dollar, I'm kind of expecting to move up then by the looks of that, just using MACD alone. I'll be expecting the move to go up slightly, purely because the MACD is, but at the same time you need more confidence factors into stat, but you get the idea what I'm looking at here. This is why I say really the hourly chart is probably the best way you could probably use it. Again though, on Aussie yen you've got lots of MACD there happening there, you have, and it's only up to this point here was it trending upwards. So again, the 5 minute chart, this is the 5 minute chart by the way, I think that's too aggressive, person, just looking at it myself now, it's too much noise there. And if you pop up to the hourly chart, what do we have here? So the hourly chart doesn't suggest that. Hourly chart says lower lows and we got lower lows. It also says lower highs and we got lower highs. So for me personally, this is going to keep breaking down, and Windows wants to update, it can clear itself off, it can. If you know my story about Windows recently, I'm sick to death of Windows. Let's do another one, which we do pound yen. I know we look at pound yen. See again, all the pound pairs are trending downwards, and MACD is confirming that with lower lows and lower highs all the way through. So you wouldn't really want to do that with pound yen. There's no reversal there. Here, this is interesting. This is pound Aussie is quite bearish. There could be a trade there actually now, short actually. That looks like a good short trade there. Let's just go and confirm it now very quickly live. High test, head and shoulder pattern, daily 50 EMA. There you go. That's quite a beautiful trade there, guys. Long term trade there. Didn't expect to see one of these up like that. That's perfect. Deceleration. I like that trade already actually. It's a beautiful trade. Let's just slap in the volume quickly. Let's see what we got very quickly there. Super high volume on the high test. That's a bearish trade straight away. So I'm going to pause the video and take a trade. Hold on a minute, guys, please. And we are back. Yes. So for me personally, this is what I want to go down for this trade very quickly, just to show you what I've looked at. As you can see, I did in a few seconds, just purely because that's what we normally do. Now, myself personally, if you see here, that to me is a head and shoulder pattern, a bit twisted on the left shoulder there. And so, let me just go through this very quickly for you guys. So what I'm looking at, so you could say it's either like this, the head and shoulder pattern. That's a very, very twisted head and shoulder pattern there, although it should have been the other way really. Let's have a look, so we can move this down. Neckline should come down to there, but it hasn't. So this is the neckline, slightly neckline going downwards there. I mean, you could have had it the other way. I don't know why my chart wants to do this. That's because of the way the thing's actually drawn. Hold on a second, guys. I'm not going to edit the video. I'm going to show what I'm looking at here, because to me it's quite important to see how you draw a different style head and shoulder pattern here. So for me personally, I see the wrong buttons. I see a pattern like that there. There's your neckline. This area here is your left shoulder. This is your right shoulder, and this would head side, and this would be your right shoulder here. Now, for me personally, on the daily chart. The MACD has put in kind of a double top pattern there. You can see it's still going down from the very tops there. So on the daily perspective, MACD is quite good in general. The pattern is forming there. So for me, I would expect price to at least come down to, let's say, something like this area here. It would be 1.75. That's what I'm aiming for. 1.75 as a rough guesstimate. And just going to delete this now very quickly. Sorry guys, this is a very, very messy video now, isn't it? But it's well worth you seeing how I use MACD to start with to actually identify trades. And for some reason this ain't going to edit itself. You can clear off. 1.75. Now that stop there, you see that stop's a little on the tight side, that is. Only like 100 pip stop there. Something like that. And you can have a nice 3% trade there. That there is quite a nice, that's a valid trade. Notice how the 1 hour 50 MA had 2, maybe 3 tests there on the way up. Broke down, come back up, test again, and broke back down again. Also notice as well, the volume lines up nice with the daily chart as well. The move up had higher volume but didn't actually go nowhere. So I expect price to break that down now quite nicely and go from there really. So the fact that you got a decent daily chart with decent daily candles and everything else there, they're trades you want to take. And again, that was purely me looking at MACD. That was, guys, nothing else. Okay, that's how powerful MACD really is. So go back there. MACD has a kind of a flat line at the top there. You can see it's struggling to go any higher. The chart here has broken up like that anyway. Then we broke down and come back up again. So MACD, effectively here, MACD is saying that's the lower high there as well. That's what I believe it's going to say. You got good candle formation there, so you got to take trades like that. If you don't, you're going to be silly. And yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. If you notice as well, we zoom out now as well. You've got all the way through here, the high is here, higher highs there. MACD from that same situation is actually lower highs, and in fact you can extend it from there as well on the bottom there to the far right hand side. So MACD there is still trending downwards overall, and that's what you want to see. You can actually see as well MACD puts a pattern in there as well. You can see a triangle forming there as well. So notice how the MACD will draw triangles in within itself, so that it's quite a strange thing when you look at it like that way. But yeah, so MACD does that, and you could also say the MACD line is testing. This is far more advanced. The MACD line is also testing the triangle itself, and that's testing the pattern. So that's how you can just use MACD for your own advantage. Okay, guys, sorry it took so long. Yeah, I got happy with making the video and the trade. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Take care. Any questions though, give us a shout.